Here's the transition. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me in chat. Good morning. All right, let me get some background music going. It's not going to be as good as 404's, but we'll get something going here. Can't even hear it. Let me turn it up a little bit. Okay, let me know if it's distracting and I'll turn it down. But welcome everybody to my first solo session, which is on domain emails. Elevate your professional image, domain emails. I'm seeing some questions in chat. What are domain emails? We'll get into it very soon. Cool. So without further ado, let's get started. My name is Wei. I am the Technical Program Associate at MLH Fellowship. I use he, him pronouns. And a fun fact is I owned almost 200 domains once. That's about like 3 years ago. I owned 200 domains. Tell me in chat how many domains you own. And I don't know, I think I just got addicted and I started buying domains. Now I own about 100, not as much. But it's a lot to manage. 5 domains, 2 domains, 0, 13 domains was too many. Yeah. Well, one is enough if you have a good one. I just have a lot of crap ones. All right, cool. So here is the quick outline of the session. We're going to learn how to register a domain name for free. I'm going to demo it using our GoDaddy domain registry. And then we're going to learn about how to receive emails, right? So we need to forward inbound mail into your inbox. Then we're going to learn how to send outbound email correctly. There are many ways to do it, but you don't want it to go to spam. So you have to do it correctly, and that's why I'm here. Lastly, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks I use to manage domain emails. In the end, you'll be able to send and receive emails for free from your domain. All right. Cool. And let me change the banner on the bottom actually to this first. So make sure to check in. I'm going to send the check-in link one more time so that you get your points. Here it is. Oh, that's the wrong place. Let me send it here. I want the points too, so let me go ahead and check in. I'm not logged in yet. All right. I'll log in real quick and show you how to check in. Sign now. MLH.io. All right, I am signed in. So if you haven't already, go to the link and check into the event. We want to make sure you get your points and you get your swags. More points for Python pros. Yep, that's right. All right, cool. All right, cool. So the first thing we're going to do is to register a domain name. By the way, I see a good question here. What happens to domain email when the domain expires? If you don't own a domain name, you can't really control where emails go from the domain. So make sure you pick a domain name you like. If you start using it, keep renewing it. All right. So we're going to learn how to register a domain name, here are some options that we're going to showcase today. So our GHW sponsor, GoDaddy Registry, is providing some very awesome free domain names. Here is the daily challenge link. Let me just drop that daily challenge link as well as some of the other links in the chat. Okay. If you go to the daily challenge link, you will see, here, can I just click on this? Yep, cool. You'll see a redeem your free GoDaddy registry domain name challenge. From here, you can click this link and you can search for a bunch of domain suffixes that GoDaddy is happy to provide us for free, or attendees for free. And there are some other options. If you like, for example, .me domain suffix, you can go to Namecheap, which is also a part of the GitHub Student Developer Pack. Name.com also has some options. Let's just take a look from the GitHub Student Developer Pack. These are the domain suffixes. And .tech domains also has free .tech domain from the GitHub Student Developer Pack. So let's go ahead and pick the domain suffix that you want, and then do some searches to see if the domain you want is available. So here are some ideas, as you can see on the right. These are some ideas for domain names. You can use your last name so that when you create an email address, it's going to be your first name at last name dot whatever. That's pretty cool. You can use your full name. You can use your online alias. Try different domain suffixes. Sometimes your name might not be available under .com, but it might be available under .me, for example. Combine words. If you have, like, my Twitch name is Waycodes, right? So you can combine it with some words. And short over long. So the shorter the domain name, the better. It's easier to memorize and it's easier to type. Next is avoid hyphens and numbers. Those tend not to be too professional when you look at a domain name. And lastly, think long-term over short-term. So you want to set it up and keep using it in the future, right? You don't want to change your domain every so often, so people can't reach you. It's going to be a headache. You have to set up forwarding and things like that. So think long-term, pick a name that you like. All right, so I'm going to show GoDaddy registry. Here, how do I go to it? Here it is, GoDaddy registry. All you have to do is click this link from the challenge, and you will be taken to this page we've showed already. And let me think, what is a good domain name for the session? Matt.lgbt, that is a very, very good domain name. I love it. All right, y'all sure like hyphens in domain names. I would try to avoid it, but if your name with hyphen is available, that's not the worst. All right, cool. So we're going to pick MLH. It's a very short name. So I doubt it's available. Let's see. So there's mlh.courses, mlh.study, mlh.club. It's not the worst. That's pretty interesting. mlh.compare, mlh.select. All right. So yeah, everybody think of a domain name you want, and let's start with registration, because you have to have a domain in order to set up domain email, right? So I don't know if mlh.club is available, because it might be a premium domain. Let's just take a quick look. Okay, I have to put in some information, looks like. So oops. I'll do it together with you. Way wayonstream@gmail.com. It's my stream email. Promo code, you can find a promo code right on the challenge page here. All right. .us or .co, those are pretty good domains. How to complete challenges or tasks. So for this challenge, you'll see once you register a domain name, redeem your free domain name, you can share your domain name on the daily form to get your points. So if you look at the daily form, it's a Google form, and you can put in your email, you can put in the challenge you're submitting, and pop in the domain name that you have registered. So I'm going to go ahead and continue here with mlh.club. I suspect it's a premium domain, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, yeah. So it is a premium registration domain, which means I can't afford it. It's $282. It's way too expensive. So I'm going to pick something else. Okay. Let's go back. Let's delete this first. How do I delete this here? All right, let's go back. For demo, I'm going to do Global Hack Week. I share the form. Yeah, so let me find the link real quick for you. Why not get wayonstream.co? I like that idea. All right, let's do it. Wayonstream.co. And it is available. So let's get to it. I'm putting my information one more time. What is the coupon code? Here's the coupon code. And it's free. Yes, that's what I want to see. All right, so I'm gonna continue and create a new account. Okay, wow, that's a lot of information, but we only have to do this once. So let's get right to it. Password, let me pick a good password here. By the way, if you're not using a password manager, you ought to use one. If you want to learn more on why, go watch Kev's stream recording. He did one on what did he do? What's the topic? Security. He did it on security. So I'm going to register. Major League Hacking. And what is the address? Let me Google the address of the Major League Hacking office. Here it is. United States of America. So please be sure to register a domain name of your choice before we move forward to step 2. All right, phone number. What's the MLH phone number? Oh, found the phone number online. I think that's the one, but we'll see. All right. Create account. How many screens do I have? I have 3. Oh, sorry, New York, Florida. Yeah, I'm in Florida. Office is in New York, so I messed that up. Sorry. But I'll fix it later. Good catch. All right. Continue. The best part is it hasn't asked for my credit card yet. I know that tends to be a blocker for many. So I'm very happy to see that. All right, get this registered for me, please. Okay, did it work? Oh, okay. It's taking a little bit of time. All right. As you can see here, our domain name has been registered, wayonstream.co. Let me know in chat if you already have a domain name you want to use, or if you have any troubles registering for one. pythonpros.co. That's awesome. You got one? Perfect. All right. So you don't want to, you have to have a domain name to follow along. So please get this registered as soon as possible. There may or may not be a swag drop at the end. So, all right. Enthusiastic Alien has 2 domains. These are all very good domain names. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So that is like, we're halfway there. I mean, I wouldn't say halfway, a third of the way there. All right. Getting a good domain name is half the battle. So while you're still registering, some of you are still registering for domain names. Here is a quick, I don't know, do you call it cartoon or doodle of how to receive email? All right, so here are some basics. If you own a domain name, you can receive email on that domain. If you own example.com, you can receive email on anything at example.com. There are 3 main options to hosting your email. The first one is to forward it to your personal Gmail. And that is, I'll explain more in the next slide. This option is mostly free. The second option is register for a domain email service. Sometimes, companies use Google Workspace, Microsoft 365, etc. Those are usually not free, and they typically charge per seat, so per user. And number 3 is host your own email. You don't want to do that because you have to deal with the ISP. A lot of ISPs, internet service providers, block the email port. And also, you have to build your IP reputation so that when you send emails out, people don't put it in spam, right? So we're going to discuss 1 and 2 in a little bit more detail in the next slide. And step 2 is we're going to set the MX record on your domain. I will explain what DNS is and what MX records mean shortly as well. And that's it. You can receive your email. So keep in mind, you can always switch to a different email host. You own your domain. You own your domain emails. You can decide where it goes. You can change between any of these options at any time. Matt has a very good point. Yeah, you wouldn't bother. I wouldn't bother doing it unless you're a literary genius and have 25 hours. Oh, I see the callback there. His email is port 25. All right, we have a question. How do I access Namecheap student free pack? So if you go to the GitHub Student Developer Pack, I believe it's called, right? Here's the GitHub Student Developer Pack. Once you sign up and verify that you are a student, you can go to domains and you'll see some options from Namecheap, from name.com, and .tech domains. And from there, you can register for your .me domain names on Namecheap. And I know Namecheap has its own website as well, nc.me. So you can try to register here as well. Hope that helps. All right. So any questions so far? We're good? Okay, so here's a quick comparison I made between mail forwarding and mail hosting. So option 1 and 2 from the last slide. The pros for mail forwarding is it's $0 to manage. So basically, any email coming to your domain will arrive at your personal email address, for example, your Gmail inbox. It's very easy to manage. Oh, oops. Where's my slide? There it goes. It's very easy to manage, and it's very professional. So anybody seeing that email address is going to feel that professionalism. The cons, no dedicated mailbox. And if you have a lot of like calendar integration, you require a lot of calendar integration, this might not be the best solution. But you can always sign up for a Google account with your personal or domain email and receive Google Calendar integration that way. Mail hosting, you get a dedicated inbox, you get the calendar integration, and you get your professional branding, right? Same professional branding using your domain. The cons, there is management overhead, and typically it's like $6 per seat per month. So it's pretty costly if you're just using it for personal purposes. So here are some example providers: Google Workspace, Microsoft 365, and iCloud. If you already pay for them, then you can continue to just use the mail hosting service. But for most students and for personal purposes, it's best to use mail forwarding. So that's my conclusion here. So yeah, Matt has a good tip here. If you have iCloud Plus, you can have dedicated domain inboxes as well. So can I explain the third option? Yes, I'll explain it real quick once more. Okay, so the third option here listed here is host your own email. This involves buying your own server. So if you're at home, maybe it's your computer, or maybe you'll purchase a virtual private server in the cloud. You have to have a dedicated IP address. You have to make sure your provider, your ISP, allows you to send and receive emails. And you have to keep your server or computer running 24/7, right? And it's very, very difficult to do right. As Matt says, it takes 25 hours a day to manage it. So we highly don't recommend it. Yes, hello. Yes, DigitalOcean and Oracle, not fun at all. All right, so let's keep going. Feel free to drop any questions in the chat. Let me actually change the banner here. Ask any questions in the chat. All right, cool. So we talked about this, and this is what this is a typical life cycle of an email, right? So if you look on the left, it's the sender's email server. So maybe it's Gmail, maybe it's Outlook, maybe it's your home mail server, right? Let's say you want to send an email to me, waitonstream@gmail.com. Okay, so the first thing your mail server does is it needs to know where to go, right? A domain name is just a string, right? You don't know which server that points to. So that's where the MX record comes in. MX record tells you where the mail server is for a given domain. So in the case of gmail.com, it is this domain name. All right. So I'm going to show you real quick how that works. You can use a command called dig. And you can query the MX record of gmail.com. By running that, it output a lot of stuff, but you don't really have to look at everything. So I'm going to put short. Short just gives us the meat of the information. You can see gmail.com has 5 different MX records, and the priority goes from the lowest to highest. So anytime an email arrives, it's going to try the lowest priority, or 5 here. And this is the mail server of gmail.com. And then what your mail server does is it does a checks the A record of that domain name for the mail server, and it's given the IP address, right? So your mail server will then know, step 3, here you go, Gmail SMTP in, here's my email. And that's the gist of what happens behind the scenes. Okay, so here's a quick question, like, why do we need to do this? Why do we need to do this? Why do we need DNS? All the information on the internet is sent using packets, and most of the packets require a source and destination IP addresses. A good analogy is your postal mail system, right? If you have an envelope that just says White House, you don't know where it should go, where you should route it, right? You don't have any information. So what DNS does is it translates White House to 1900 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C. So now you have a address where the mail carrier can go to and deliver the mail. And that's essentially what DNS is about. Okay. DNS was built in 1983, and it hasn't really changed. Yeah, that's correct. So here are some different record types of DNS. So we played with MX, where to send mail, right? There are some other record types. For example, a record type gives you the IPv4 address of a given domain. This is what happens when you visit any website. Your browser is actually querying a DNS server for the IP address of that domain before going to it. And there are some other record types. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but feel free to read more about them. These are the most common ones: A, CNAME, MX, TXT. You probably deal with them the most. Name server, CAA, and are not as much. And AAA is for IPv6. So if you have IPv6 connection, that's where that's the address we'll go to. So Crypto Black says you will still need an SMTP server to send mail from your domain. That is correct, and we will get into it in part 3. So any questions so far about DNS, about our very brief overview of DNS and the different record types? You don't have to know too much. You just need to know we need to set up some DNS records, and MX is where email goes, where your domain specifies the email server. Okay. All right, so we have a quick question here. How many times a year will Global Hack Week take place? It's going to be every month. So the next one is GHW February. If you haven't registered, I highly recommend registering for it. Okay, so receive and forward inbound email. There are a number of options. So let's first go to our domain registry pork bun. Let me close out some tabs here. Okay, wayonstream.co. Perfect. And as you can see here, you can configure the DNS of that domain name. And you also have some other options. It's going to look a little bit different on other domain registrars, but it's going to look similar. So we'll just run through this real quick. So you have some basic information like domain contact, registry create date, etc. One of the things you might ask is, why don't we just use the email forwarding that comes with a domain registry? For example, Porkbun has email hosting that's $2 a month. We don't want to pay that. We already established it. But why don't we use email hosting, email forwarding provided by the domain registrar? The main reason is this. It doesn't support wildcard or catch-all forwards, so that you have to configure every single name at your domain.co, and you're limited to 20. And you have to pay after that. I don't want to pay that. So we're going to use an open source project to do the exact same thing, probably better. And the open source project is called Forward Email. And here's a link to the open source project. And as you can see here, Forward Email allows you to forward emails for free for custom domains for 6 years and counting. Unlimited email aliases, lightning fast technology, secure email encryption, and here are some features. You can see here it supports multiple recipients and wildcards, so you can configure email forwarding for numerous inboxes. This is especially important if you're Python doing it for Python pros, where there are a number of guild members. And the best part is that it is open source. You can read more about it on the GitHub, but for now, we're just going to use their website to sign up for free. So let me know if everybody's on this page and if you have any questions. Okay. All right, cool. So I have a Gmail, so I'm just going to sign up with Google, but you can also sign up with email and password or GitHub. So I'm going to sign up with Google. All right, great. So once you sign up, you will be taken to the add domain page. On the add domain page, we're going to put in our domain name, which is wayonstream.co. And hit continue. We're going to switch to the free plan for now. Okay, here. And it's going to give you some instructions on how to set up forwarding. All right, so there are 2 steps of how to set up forwarding, and they actually have a list of instructions for different providers. But I'm going to show you for Porkbun. All we have to do is go to the DNS section. and add those records. So if you look here, there are 2 MX records and 1 TXT record that we need to add. So first thing first, we need to make sure there are no MX records currently present, because if there are, then your email might not be routed to the correct place, right? So if we look at the domain name and click DNS and scroll down, you will see the current records. And as you can see here, there are no MX record. So that's perfect. We can go ahead and add them. MX. For the host name, we're going to leave it blank because we just want wayonstream.co. We're going to leave the host name blank. Depending on your provider, you might have to put a @ symbol to indicate that. But on Porkbun, it says leave blank. So we're going to leave blank. And for the MX record, we're going to choose priority 10 and mx1.forwardemail.net is the value. So let's go ahead and add that in, priority 10. And TTL is time to live, basically how long the record is cached for. We're going to just leave it as the standard 600 for now, 600 seconds. All right, so let's add that one, MX1. Here it is. And we'll do the same for the MX2 record. So the answer is mx2.forwardemail.net, priority 10 as well, and add. So now we have 2 MX records set up. We'll give everybody a minute to get the MX records set up. Let me know in chat if you have any trouble. Okay, everything's good, easy peasy. Okay, and then the last thing we need to do is the TXT record. Okay, I did know this. Okay, so they want the TTL to be 3600. That doesn't really matter. So we're just going to keep it as the default for Porkbun. And then the last one is the TXT record. It's going to be different depending on where you want to forward your email to. This is my Gmail, so I'm going to, provide a supply this record. This is what forward email gave me, so I'm just going to use it. TXT, forward email, and that's it. So in the end, you should have 3 records, MX, MX, and TXT. All right, you got your free domain. Perfect, perfect. All right, so once you have those 3 records in, you're pretty much set up. You're set up with receiving domain emails. Let me know if everybody has those records in, all 3 of them. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So you can actually verify it using dig. So you notice we used dig to query the MX record of gmail.com previously. I'm going to now use it to query the MX record for my domain, wayonstream.co. Okay, sorry, it's being covered by the banner. So let me move it up a little bit here. Okay, so I'm going to use the dig command line tool to query for the MX record of my domain. And as you can see here, we have both records set up correctly. Could we change the forward email? Yes, you can. You can. So if you look at the TXT record we set up, it says forward email to waitonstream@gmail.com. But you can change this to any email address that you'd like to forward your emails to. So there is a website that I typically use to check if your DNS were set up correctly in addition to the dig command. And the website is dnschecker.org, I think. So what's nice about this website is it has servers all around the world. And if I specify MX, it's going to query for the MX records all around the world. It's very easy to see if your DNS records are set up correctly and if they have been refreshed globally, especially when you're changing the record. And then we can try the TXT method. TXT also shows the correct value all around the world. So we're set up. Okay, the A asks, can forward email contain multiple emails? Yes, you can. So let's go to FAQ. I have the Zoom set up, so it's a little bit messy. Okay, so we can, if you go to the FAQ, you will see various options here. So, for example, okay, so option A through F, is that right? So option A is what we went with, the default option. So all the emails from the domain, anything at waitonstream.co will go to my Gmail, right? So that's the method, that's what we set up. But there's option B. If you only need to forward a single mail address, like hello@waitonstream.com, you can specify it like so. So hello, and that will forward this email inbox, emails to this inbox over to your Gmail. Option C, if you're forwarding multiple emails, so like somebody at pythonpros.co, for example, support, you want to go to somebody else, this would be the notation that you would use. And you can have an infinite number of forward email TXT records. If it gets too long, you can just have multiples of them. Hope that helps. Many different options you can choose from. But for the demo, we're going to just go with the default, which is all emails going to my domain will arrive at my inbox. Okay, so you can see we're already getting some emails from when we signed up for the different services. This is the waitonstream@gmail.com. All right, cool. I'm glad that helped. So now that you have all the things set up, it is time to test your email. Let me present this one more time. Oops. Okay, so let's test incoming emails to make sure forward email is working correctly. So I just sent a link to this form. And all you have to do is put in your domain mail. So I have waitonstream.co. So I need to put maybe ghw@wayonstream.co. Since we set up all the emails at wayonstream.co, we'll go to my Gmail. This email address should work perfectly. So for me, I'm going to try this, ghw@wayonstream.co. Submit. Might take a second to send. Success. So let me know if you have any success. Now, if I go to my Gmail, you'll see a very awesome message here. Congrats. You can now receive emails at ghw@wayonstream.co. Yes, that's perfect. Okay. Got it. Perfect. Do you need to submit the name of the domain? So what you need to submit is an email address under that domain. So for me, it's going to be anything at wayonstream.co. Can be anything. So you can pick, depending on your domain, you can put anything in front of it. We just want to test anything at the domain is being routed to your Gmail correctly. Yes, exactly. You can use any first name before the @ symbol. And this is the one I used. And I received this email telling me I can now receive emails at ghw@wayonstream.com. Co. All right. We got an apple. We got a pineapple. Anybody else? If you received it, let me know. Well, first read the email and let me know in chat. Okay. Matt says he received it. If you received it, you need to read the email. I can tell you didn't read the email. Okay, perfect. So we got mango, we got orange, and we got a banana. Perfect, perfect. All right, so here's the email. All right, sounds like we're all set up. Does anybody need more time on this, or do we want to continue? Let me know in chat. All right, good to go? Perfect. Feel free to drop any questions. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is sending emails, right? Now you can receive emails to your inbox. You can't really send emails out. You can't reply to people. If you hit reply, right, it's going to use your Gmail address actually as the from address, right? So yeah, because you don't have another sending address set up, right? So that's no good. That's no good. So what we're going to do is send outbound email. All right, we got a watermelon. Perfect. So there are a couple options to send outbound email. Someone mentioned SMTP earlier, right? So if you look at forward email, this service that we used to receive emails, under their FAQ, or actually on their homepage, I believe. Okay, here's a guide. How to send mail as with Gmail, for example. And they have a very nice video of it on how to basically use your Gmail account, your Gmail SMTP server, and send emails from your domain. So this will work sometimes, but the problem is if you're sending emails from your Gmail's SMTP server, some email hosts might treat it as spam, right, as junk, because your domain name, it doesn't really have your domain name in your SMTP server, right? Your SMTP server is Gmail's SMTP server, so there's a mismatch. So and when that happens, Outlook, for example, will throw it right in junk. We don't want our emails to go in junk. So we're going to do it the right way. And we're going to set up outbound email using Twilio SendGrid. The nice thing about Twilio SendGrid is it is completely free, and you don't need a credit card. So that's the best part. You can send up to 100 emails. Let me open up the link to SendGrid. And you can see that you can send 100 emails per day for free forever. So what we're going to do is we're going to sign up for Twilio SendGrid real quick. Here's a link in chat. Okay. If you're following along, we're just going to go to that link and try for free. And we'll sign up for free. So I'm going to use my Gmail address again. And let me grab a password real quick from my password manager. Not a robot, and sign up. Okay, so we have to provide some information about myself. So let's do that one more time. Company name. Developer. I'm just going to call myself a developer. 0 to 100,000 and 1 to 500 people work at the company. So that's what I'm going to go with. All right, so now we're on the Twilio SendGrid dashboard. I'll give everybody a minute to get that set up. All right, let me know in chat if you are signed up. Yeah, so Twilio SendGrid is a email marketing platform. So you can send for your application or for your organization, you can send out newsletters, you can send out transactional emails, for example, like password reset emails, registration welcome emails, etc. But you can also use it to send your personal domain emails. And that's exactly what we're going to use Twilio SendGrid for. All right, we got one person who's got it. Great work. We'll give a couple more minutes for everyone to sign up and go to the dashboard. All right, very nice, very nice. We got 3 folks. Can you have the link? Yes. So you can sign up at, here is the URL, but I will resend it in chat. Oh, just joined? Okay, so if you just joined, it might be a little bit difficult to follow up right now because follow along right now because we did register a domain name and set up inbound emails. This is, you can watch back at the recording to learn how to do those 2 things. Is it fine if I type mlh.io in company website? Sure. If you want, you just got a new domain name, right? You can put your domain name in the company website field. Oh, cool, cool. You do have a registered domain name on pork bun. All right, perfect. Okay, so 404 just kind of had connectivity issues also. I will do a very, very quick overview of what we did in part 2. It will take like 30 seconds. So first, we signed up. First, we signed up at forwardemail.net. Then we added a domain name. After we added the domain name, we added 3 DNS records to our domain. And after that, we were able to receive emails to anything at our domain.co. So wayonstream.co. Replace this with your domain name. So that's what we did in part 2. That's basically it. Pretty straightforward. On pork bun, you can configure the DNS records right here. So manage DNS records. You can see your existing records, and you can see the new records we added. All right, cool. Okay, so I can't add all 3. So you add one at a time. Don't repeat it. Repeat the step. Don't repeat it. It's a Namecheap issue. Yeah, so on Namecheap, you can also do the you can also add DNS records. So I believe they have a guide here. So let's see. Browse our list of DNS providers, and they actually have a video on how to set up DNS on Namecheap. So recommend you watch that if you have any trouble. Okay, so everybody's on this page, right? SendGrid. Cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to authenticate a domain. So you see the two options, create a single sender or authenticate a domain instead. We want to authenticate a domain because we want to be able to send from anything at our domain, right? We don't want to just send it from a single domain sender. So we're going to authenticate a domain instead. And you will be taken to this page. And if you were not on the dashboard previously, you can actually find this option under Settings, Sender Authentication. So here you can pick pork bun. Okay, pork bun is not available here, which doesn't really matter. For simplicity purposes, we're going to just answer no here for branded links. But if you would like branded links, actually, let's say yes. We would like branded links for the domain. Okay, so we'll say yes. This will rewrite all tracking links to use the domain. Yeah, let's do that. And I think here we can just say other hosts not listed pork bun. This step doesn't really matter, but we'll keep going. All right, so we're going to hit next. And under from domain, we're going to add our domain name. As you can see here, janedoe@wayonstream.co. Perfect. And we're not going to do any advanced settings for now. We're just going to put in wayonstream.co under from domain and hit next. All right. So now you're given a number of DNS records. There are 5 DNS records here. That's a lot, but it should be quick. It should be quick. So the first DNS record we're going to add is URL 4121. This is going to be used to rewrite the tracking links whenever we send out an email with links. So all you have to do is go to your DNS record page and add a CNAME record. And all you have to do here under host is put in your subdomain, right? So in this case, they want URL 4121. And we just need to put that in here. And the answer or the value is sendgrid.net. So let's pop that in and hit add. And here it is. You can see it looks the same as what they asked for. Next, we're going to add this one. Sendgrid.net. Add. And just 3 more. how do we get that pop-up on pork bun? Yeah, so you can go to your domain management page where you can see all your domain names, and under there, under each of the domain, there's a DNS link. Yep. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Okay, so I finished adding all 5 CNAME records, as you can see here. They match up with what SendGrid is asking for. So let's take your time adding them. Make sure you add them correctly, especially the s1._domain key. That is pretty important because that record is used to sign your emails, to authenticate your emails. So make sure you add all the 5 CNAME records correctly, and they should appear like so. Good to go? All right, you're fast. Good work. Stay Rogue 16. I like it. Siddharth 0910. Done. Perfect. Okay, yeah. If you're done, just double check, make sure they match up exactly. Sometimes what happens is if I made a mistake, for example, if I put the whole thing in here instead of just the s1.domain key, what happens is the domain part will be repeated, and that's no good. See, it's now .wayonstream.co. So that's a mistake I've made in the past. Just double check the domain looks correctly. You don't have the last 3 on my table. The last 3 are from forward email. So that's the section you missed just before you joined. You can, if you want, you can just add them, right? If you want to receive emails, you can just add them real quick. Just replace this with your personal email address. All right, how's everybody else doing? Let me know in chat if you have any trouble. Okay, while we wait for everyone to set up these records, we can answer this real quick. What's a DNS server? Okay, that is a very good question. Let's go back a few slides here. Okay, so a DNS server translates a domain name to an IP address. So if you want to kind of go the bare minimum, like that's what a DNS server does. It knows things about the domain name. So it knows things about, okay, what is the address for that domain? It knows where the mail server is, for example. It knows where the mail server is for that domain here. It knows, it has some text records, can be any string. It has some text information about the domain, etc. So a DNS server basically translates and tells you about the domain, everything about the domain. Oh, hey Adam. Welcome, YouTube community. All right, so done, but couldn't click verify. Done. All right, let's try it. Let me try it. So make sure you check I've added these records and hit verify. And boom. All right. Did you get this check mark too? If you still have trouble, let me know. You can comment your domain name and we can take a quick look. Twitch is blocked. All right. You don't have a VPN or 5G? Got the check mark? Great work. That means you added all 5 records correctly. I like YouTube. I have YouTube Premium, so like I don't have to watch the ads on Twitch. Okay, did anybody else get the check mark? Is YouTube Premium worth it? If you watch YouTube more than, I don't know, a couple hours a day, like I do, you probably would appreciate it. All right, is anybody else setting this up? What is my professional opinion on pineapple gummy bears? I have never had a pineapple gummy bear, I don't think. You have to send me one and I will do my evaluation. Okay, so then you definitely need YouTube Premium. Get the student pricing. I think there's a student discount. All right, got it working. That's perfect. It's showing an unusual error. If you want to send a screenshot on Discord, we can take a quick look for you of the record as well as your DNS panel showing the records you added. Oh yeah, I've had the mini ones. My mom actually brought some from Germany. I haven't opened them. I have to try them out. Okay, let me check Discord if anybody has posted any problem there. Not yet, okay. Okay, we have a very good tip here. Just double check if the values on pork bun are correct. So yeah, double check, make sure these values and the host name match 100% with what SendGrid is asking you to do. By the way, these first 2 records came from pork bun when I first registered the domain. I don't really need them, so I'm just going to delete them and keep the 3 we added in part 2, and then these 5 here. All right, same thing happened to me. I missed the letter. Okay, very good tips here. Okay, in the interest of time, we're going to keep going real quick here. So let's go back to SendGrid. And what we're going to do is go to email API. I think it's email API. Let's take a look. Okay, yes. Let's go to email API integration guide. All right, so there are two setup methods. We're going to go with the SMTP relay method. Okay. Sent on Discord, ask GHW. Okay, perfect. So let's take a quick look and see if there's any typos. Okay. Let's take a quick look here. I see. So you edited the records instead of adding a new one, maybe. Yeah, that's what happens. Happened. So what happens is you see there's a TTL time. It takes a little bit of time for the records to update. So I would recommend just waiting a few minutes and hitting the verify again, because it does look correct here. Okay. All right, so for now, we're going to keep going, and we're going to choose the SMTP relay method under, okay, perfect. Everybody's all set up. Okay, we're going to do SMTP relay under email API integration guide. And we're going to create outbound key, maybe, or email key. Anything you want here. SMTP email key. Create key. All right, so now you can see that we have some information here, SMTP information. We have our key, we have our SMTP server, port, username, and password. So we can use these information to set up outbound email on our Gmail. So I'm going to go to my Gmail account. Welcome to SendGrid. I'll just confirm the email address real quick. Okay. So first, let me know if everybody has access to the key now. All right. Do you see the key and the SMTP information? Let me know in chat. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So what we're going to do is let's go to our Gmail. I'm going to use Gmail as an example, but it should work with other providers as well. So click this settings icon and go to accounts and import. Go to accounts and import. And from there, we're going to go to the send mail as section and add another email address. So in this example, we can send from wei@weighonstream.co, for example, right? And make sure you uncheck treat as an alias. You can learn more about what that means, but for now, we're just going to uncheck it. Okay, we're going to go to the next step. And here you will see some SMTP information, right? So we're going to make sure we use the SendGrid's SMTP information here. So the server is going to be smtp.sendgrid.net. So let's copy that here. Port you can use any port, right? 25, 587, or 465. We're going to leave it at 587. The username needs to be API key. And the password is the API key you created. Where do we get the API key from? So if you go to Email API Integration Guide, you can choose SMTP Relay. And from there, you can pick a name for your API key, and it will give you this information. Okay, what do we have to do on Gmail again? Yes. So go to Settings here, and under Accounts and Import, you can go to the Send Mail As section and click Add Another Email Address. Okay. So here, let's just do this one more time. Put your name and the email address you would like to send from. So it can be anything at yourdomain.co, or for me, wayonstream.co. Uncheck Treat as an alias, and under the next step, put in the SMTP server information from SendGrid. So make sure you put the right username, which is API key, and the actual API key is the password, and the SMTP server as well. So next, we're going to just hit Add Account. Okay. So what happens now is Gmail will send a confirmation code, and this is the time when you can go to your inbox, wait for it. You will receive a confirmation code right in the body, and you can verify your send email. Almost uploaded the wrong. That happens to me a lot. So I just want to make sure everybody gets in the right one. So yeah, so now if we go back to accounts and import, you will see our new send as email. So here, way@wayonstream.co. Yes, TLS is perfect. Port 587, TLS is perfect. Okay. All right. So let me know in chat if you're able to receive the confirmation code and successfully add your send mail as your secondary send it from address in your settings. Yep, got it. Perfect. Can't reach server error. Just need to make sure you put the right server information. So the server is smtp.sendgrid.net. Make sure you put in the right SMTP server information. All right, anybody else? Any troubles? We're almost there. Only like a couple steps left. Got it? Great work. Great work. All right, what is the username and password? Yeah, so if you go to SendGrid integration guide, make sure you choose SMTP relay. From there, you can pick a name for your API key and you'll see the screen. The screen has all the information on the server, the ports, the username, and password. Okay. Hello, Jay. Could you rephrase your question? Oh, what other sessions will I take this GHW? This is the only exclusive session for this GHW, but I do have other sessions planned for GHW February. All right, so if you are able to see your email now under Send Mail As, make sure you toggle the radio button to this option, which is reply from the same address the message was sent to. This is very important because otherwise, anytime you reply to somebody's email, it's going to come from your personal email address, and you don't want that. You want your professional email address as the sender. Okay, so make sure you do that. Okay, is everybody good? Any troubles? Feel free to comment. All right, great work there, folks. All right, good to go? Perfect. Okay, so I think that's all. You have it set up. Let's go to SendGrid and hit I have updated my settings and verify integration. And then now it says send the email from your application. Let's test it out. So we're going to, let's go to the slide here. We're going to send an outbound email. So send an email to this address from your newly created email address. Okay, so I attached it in a message there, so you can copy the email address. But what we're going to do is we're going to compose. When we compose the email, you notice you can choose a from address now. I'm going to send it from wei@weianstream.co. And this is the email address that I'm sending to. You can put any subject and any body. And just hit send. So Gmail takes like 5 seconds by default, I believe, right here. and it's sent. Message sent. Message sent right here. We'll wait maybe 10, 15 seconds and click verify integration on SendGrid. Checking, checking. All right, it worked. It worked. Perfect. It worked indeed. So you should always also have received an email from me. All right. For some reason, it went into the promotions folder, unfortunately. But if you go to it, you will see this new email. Congrats! You can now send emails from wei@weionstream.co. So basically, I have a autoresponder set up. Anytime you send an email to the address I have included here, you will receive an email confirming that you're now sending from the correct email address. Okay, here is the body of the email address. If you got it, you can pat yourself on the back by going to this link. All right, folks. All right. Yeah, if you want to see how I pat myself on the back, you can go to that link. Worked? Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so that's all for this section, the outbound email. You can now, let's just do a recap. You can now send and receive emails at your domain email. And let's just revisit this screenshot real quick, this illustration. We talked about the first three steps, but if we take a look on the right side, on like sending emails. So if I'm trying to send an email to, actually, let me take that back. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so the Gmail server is here actually validating, okay, is the email coming from the sender's email server from them? And the Gmail server is able to verify that the emails are indeed coming from your domain. And you can verify that by looking on Gmail. Looking on Gmail. Sent email, actually. And you can see that this email is mailed by weionstream.co. And the recipient of that email will see the same thing. And it's actually signed and mailed by your domain. This will ensure the email deliverability, right? Because that is very important. Okay, worked like magic. Very nice job there. Cool. Any questions before we jump to the last step of our workshop today? I just have some tips I would like to share with you before we go. So any questions before we jump into that? It worked. Thanks for the great the session. It's not done yet, so I'm really happy that it worked for you and so many others. And keep in mind, this is all free. So that is the best part. What is the link attached at the end of the email? It's a video of me patting myself on the back. So definitely check that out. Am I using a standing desk? Yes, I am. I am standing. Okay, cool. So sounds like everyone's on track. Let's talk about managing domain emails. So one thing that happens is anytime I sign up for a service or a product, I use my personal email, right? And then I keep receiving spam on those email addresses. That is very, very frustrating because I don't know who leaked my email address. Do you have the same problem? So using our domain email, it is very easy now for us to use anything, right? Anything at example.com at your domain, right? You can use anything at your domain when signing up for services. So you can use GoDaddy at your domain, Twilio at your domain, etc. By doing this, you are kind of limiting the scope of any spam problems, right? You know who leaked your email, basically. If you start receiving spam on one of your domain emails, you know who leaked it. And you can do something about it. You can easily go to Gmail and create a filter. So let's say I started receiving spam at wayonstream.co. I don't have one right now. But if I started receiving spam, I can then automatically create a filter, right, for emails that are coming to that inbox, and I can delete it, mark it as spam, or anything I want. I don't have to look at it, basically. This makes it very easy for you to manage spam. And if at any time you want to stop receiving emails at that address, you can also configure it directly on forwardemail.net to kind of direct that inbox to something that is non-existent, so that you don't receive that email. So that is a pro tip that I would like to share for managing emails. If you have any pro tips, feel free to drop them in the chat. All right. Well, that is the 4 parts I would like to present. So thank you so much for staying with me and getting everything set up. You can now use your domain email in your professional branding. You can use it on Twitter, you can use it on GitHub, Discord, etc. And it looks very professional on your resume. I have my personal email on my resume, domain email on my resume. All right, cool. So the last part of the presentation of the workshop